It's scarce. The question is, can we find it?
The likelihood of successful strike is 10%.
I want success. Get that from me.
I'm trying.
I gave her my word, Tom. Does it kill the company? Absolutely. But that company died when her husband died.
How dare you?
Now it's time for the episode we've all been waiting for. Episode 8, titled Handsome Touched Me, comes with a very intriguing synopsis. Tommy hires help for his father as Cammy makes a risky move. The part that stands out the most is Cammy's risky decision, and the promo already gives us some clues about what that might be. First, we see Tommy and Nathan discussing the opening of new oil wells, with Nathan pointing out that every possible outcome could end badly for them. And honestly, he might be right. Something definitely feels off with the wells. Next, we see Charlie and Rebecca presenting their findings to Tommy and Cammy. Charlie reveals that the success rate is only 10%, which is incredibly concerning. But for Cammy, the numbers don't seem to matter at all. She makes it clear that she wants success, no matter the odds. At this point, it's hard not to say that Cammy is acting purely on emotion rather than logic. While her desire to save the company is understandable, her emotional approach is preventing her from making rational business decisions. She really needs to slow down, listen to Tommy, and think things through. But we won't. As a result, Tommy will be forced to chase a plan with just a 10% chance of success. In another scene, Galino warns Tommy that this oil extraction attempt could bring the entire company down. But here's where things get interesting. This could be pure manipulation. If oil is successfully discovered, M-Tex wouldn't need Galino's money anymore. So wouldn't it make sense for him to discourage this move? After all, Galino wants full control over Cammy and Tommy's business. Let me take this theory a step further. What if Galino planted someone inside M-Tex to sabotage the operation? Someone who downplays the chances of success and pushes the idea that opening the wells is a bad move. If that's the case, Charlie might be that person. If M-Tex fails, they'll become completely dependent on Galino's funding, essentially handing him control of the company. The big question is whether Cammy and Tommy will realize what's happening in time. The promo gives us hope. For the first time, we see Cammy furious with Galino, and her line, "How dare you?" suggests he may say something offensive about Monty. I truly hope this is the moment Cammy finally wakes up. Otherwise, Galino's plans could cause serious damage. And if contracts have already been signed, escaping his grip could be extremely difficult. With 3 episodes left in Season 2, it feels like we're headed toward intense legal battles, rushed oil drilling, and possibly catastrophic consequences. Now it's your turn. Are you enjoying Season 2 so far? Do you think Charlie is secretly working for Galino? And what do you expect to see in the upcoming episodes? Let's talk in the comments. The Episode 8 trailer makes it very clear that the pressure on M-Tex has reached an unbearable level. From the very beginning, we can feel that Tommy is no longer fighting small problems. He is fighting time, money, and betrayal all at once. The oil wells that were supposed to save the company now look like a massive gamble that could completely destroy it. The idea of success sounds good, but the reality is terrifying. A low success rate, rising costs, and powerful people waiting for M-Tex to fail create a situation where every decision feels like the wrong one. Tommy's calm but exhausted attitude in the trailer tells us that he understands exactly how bad things are, even if he does not say it out loud. This is not just about drilling oil anymore. This is about survival. What makes the situation even more intense is Cammy's emotional state. In the trailer, she looks desperate rather than confident, and that is extremely dangerous in a business like this. Cammy wants to save the company at any cost, but that mindset might be exactly what pushes M-Tex into bankruptcy. She is no longer thinking step by step. She is reacting, and when emotions take control, logic usually disappears. The trailer strongly suggests that Cammy is ready to make another risky move, even after being warned multiple times. This makes us question whether she is actually helping M-Tex or slowly sinking it. Her silence in certain moments and her anger in others show that she is under immense pressure, possibly more than anyone else. At the same time, the trailer quietly reminds us of the dangerous presence of Galino. Even when he is not speaking, his influence is everywhere. Every risky decision feels like it somehow benefits him. If M-Tex fails, Galino wins. If the wells do not produce oil, Galino becomes their only option. And that is what makes the bankruptcy angle so frightening. The trailer does not show Galino panicking. Instead, he looks patient, almost confident, as if he is waiting for everything to fall apart. That alone should worry everyone. This raises a terrifying question. Is M-Tex actually being pushed toward bankruptcy on purpose? And then there is Charlie. The trailer does not give us clear answers, but it gives us enough doubt to make us uncomfortable. His role in the oil well data, his calm attitude, and the way he presents bad news without emotion all feel suspicious. If the success rate is truly that low, why does everything feel so perfectly timed? If M-Tex goes bankrupt, Charlie walks away clean, but Galino walks away with everything. The trailer quietly plants this idea in our minds without confirming it, which makes the suspense even stronger. At this point, bankruptcy does not feel like an accident. It feels planned. Episode 8 is shaping up to be the moment where denial ends and reality hits hard. M-Tex is bleeding money, trust is breaking, and the line between ally and enemy is becoming dangerously thin. The trailer makes one thing painfully clear. If someone does not wake up fast, M-Tex is going bankrupt. And the fallout will change every relationship in this story forever. Episode 8 is not just about money or oil anymore. It is about trust, and more importantly, about realizing that someone close to M-Tex might not be who we think they are. The trailer strongly pushes this idea without directly saying it, and that is what makes it so unsettling. Throughout the season, we have been led to believe that the biggest threat to M-Tex is Galino. And yes, he is clearly dangerous. But what if the real damage is being done from inside? What if the company is already compromised, and the people making decisions are relying on information that was never meant to help them succeed? Charlie is at the center of these suspicions. Up until now, he has been presented as a calm, intelligent, and trustworthy professional. Someone who brings logic into emotional situations. But Episode 8's trailer subtly changes how we see him. The way he talks about risk, the certainty in his negative predictions, and his complete lack of emotional reaction to the possibility of M-Tex failing feel wrong. If the company collapses, Charlie does not seem like someone who would lose sleep over it, and that alone is a red flag. When everyone else is stressed, scared, or angry, his calmness feels unnatural, almost calculated. This is where the idea that someone is not who we think becomes truly powerful. If Charlie is indeed working with Galino, it would explain so much. The low success rates, the constant discouragement, and the perfectly timed warnings that push Cammy and Tommy toward desperation. If you want to take over a company, you do not attack it directly. You weaken it from the inside, slowly, until it has no other choice but to accept your control. And Galino is exactly the kind of person who would play that long, patient game. But Charlie is not the only question mark. Episode 8 might also force us to rethink Cammy's role. She is not a villain, but her emotional decisions could make her an unintentional weapon. If Galino knows how she reacts under pressure, then pushing her toward panic could be part of the plan. Every risky move she makes brings M-Tex closer to dependence, and dependence is exactly what Galino wants. That does not make Cammy evil, but it does make her dangerously predictable. Tommy, on the other hand, seems to be the only one slowly putting the pieces together. The trailer shows him more serious than ever, and that suggests he might finally start questioning the people around him. Episode 8 could be the turning point where Tommy stops reacting and starts investigating. If he begins to doubt Charlie's data or Galino's intentions, that could lead to explosive confrontations. And judging by Cammy's anger in the trailer, someone says something that crosses a line, possibly about Monty, and that could expose hidden motives very quickly. The most frightening part is that if Tommy and Cammy realize the truth too late, it may not matter anymore. Contracts could already be signed, deals could already be locked in, and once that happens, even exposing the truth might not save M-Tex. Episode 8 feels like the episode where masks begin to crack but not fully fall. The audience will see enough to doubt everything, while the characters are still one step behind. And that is what makes this episode so tense. Someone is not who we think, And when the truth finally comes out, the damage may already be irreversible. As episode 8 approaches, one thing becomes painfully clear. Time is no longer on M-Tex's side. The trailer suggests that events are moving much faster than anyone expected, and rushed decisions are now unavoidable. When a company reaches this stage, logic often takes a backseat to survival instincts, and that is exactly what we are seeing with M-Tex. The idea of opening new oil wells, despite the massive risks involved, no longer feels like a bold strategy. It feels like a last, desperate attempt to stay alive. And desperation is where the biggest mistakes are made. The financial pressure on Tommy is especially intense. He is not just responsible for a company anymore. He is responsible for the livelihoods of everyone connected to it. The trailer shows a man who is carrying that weight silently. He knows that if this move fails, there will be no second chance. Banks will not wait. Investors will not forgive. And Galino will not hesitate. This explains why Tommy appears more isolated than ever. Even when surrounded by people, he feels alone in his decision-making. That isolation might push him into choices he would normally never consider. At the same time, the oil wells themselves start to feel less like an opportunity and more like a ticking time bomb. The low probability of success keeps repeating in the background of the trailer, almost like a warning that no one wants to fully accept. Opening these wells too quickly could lead to technical failures, safety issues, or even disasters that go beyond money. And if something goes wrong, the consequences will not just be financial, they will be permanent. This adds another layer of tension because now the risk is not only bankruptcy, but complete destruction of trust and reputation. What makes this situation even more unsettling is the possibility that someone wants M-Tex to rush. The faster they move, the more mistakes they make. And the more mistakes they make, the easier it becomes for an outside force to step in and save the company. Galino fits perfectly into this scenario. He does not need M-Tex to succeed. He needs them to fail just enough to surrender control. Episode 8 feels like the moment where this trap finally starts to close. We also cannot ignore the emotional strain this puts on relationships inside the company. Trust between Cammy and Tommy feels fragile. Even if they are on the same side, stress has a way of turning allies into opponents. If Cammy continues to push forward without fully listening, and Tommy continues to hesitate without fully explaining his fears, conflict is inevitable. And conflict at this stage could be fatal for M-Tex. One wrong argument, one bad decision, and everything they built could collapse overnight. Episode 8 is shaping up to be the episode where M-Tex crosses a dangerous line. There is no turning back after this point. Either the wells change everything, or they destroy everything. And the most terrifying part is that the outcome may already be influenced by forces working quietly in the shadows. The rush, the pressure, and the fear all point to one conclusion. M-Tex is being pushed toward a breaking point, and not everyone involved wants to stop it. While the business side of M-Tex is clearly collapsing, Episode 8 also hints that the emotional and personal consequences will be just as devastating. The trailer suggests that the pressure from the company's potential bankruptcy is starting to bleed into every relationship, making even the strongest bonds feel unstable. When people are pushed into survival mode, loyalty is tested, secrets surface, and true intentions slowly come into focus. This episode does not just threaten a company, it threatens the people behind it. Tommy's family situation becomes especially important here. Hiring help for his father may seem like a small detail at first, but it actually reveals how overwhelmed Tommy truly is. He is trying to hold his personal life together while everything else is falling apart. This decision shows that Tommy knows he cannot do everything alone anymore, and that realization might extend to M-Tex as well. The question is whether he will accept the right kind of help or the kind that comes with hidden strings attached. In a moment of weakness, even a dangerous offer can look like a lifeline. Cammy, on the other hand, appears to be reaching her emotional limit. The anger we see in the trailer does not come from strength. It comes from fear. Fear of losing the company, fear of disappointing Monty's legacy, and fear of realizing that she may have already made irreversible mistakes. Her confrontation with Galino feels like a breaking point. For the first time, she is no longer politely negotiating or trying to keep control. She is reacting. And when someone like Galino is pushed, the consequences are never simple. Rebecca and Charlie's situation also becomes more complicated under this pressure. If Charlie truly has a hidden agenda, Episode 8 could start planting emotional cracks in his relationship with Rebecca. Stress has a way of exposing lies, and even small inconsistencies can suddenly feel suspicious. Rebecca is intelligent and observant, and once doubt enters her mind, it will not be easy to remove. If she begins questioning Charlie's intentions, that could create a personal conflict that mirrors the larger betrayal threatening M-Tex. Galino, meanwhile, remains the calmest person in the room, and that is exactly what makes him terrifying. While everyone else is reacting emotionally, he is watching, waiting, and calculating. The trailer makes it clear that he thrives in chaos. The closer M-Tex gets to collapse, the stronger his position becomes. He does not need to rush or raise his voice. He just needs to let fear do the work for him. And fear is everywhere in Episode 8. This episode feels like the moment where emotional decisions start shaping the future more than logical ones. Relationships will be tested, trust will be questioned, and alliances may quietly shift. Even if M-Tex somehow survives financially, the emotional damage could be permanent. Episode 8 is not just about whether the company goes bankrupt, it is about whether the people involved can survive what that pressure turns them into.